All right. Hey everyone. This is episode number 3, and we're learning how to create a set of colored markers using CSS. So it's gonna be an hour long video, I suppose, because it's 94 steps over here, and the previous video was at 91. So I'll try my best to go through it as fast as possible, and I'll mention the things that I think are worth mentioning. So yeah, so here's the preview that should work. What is it? Oh, it's still loading, is it? I reloaded the whole page. Mm. Ah yeah, so this is the end product. So this is all using CSS and nothing more, I suppose. Okay. I mean, I've done it before, but I just don't recall. Okay. So yeah, so as you see previous video, a web page should start with doc type HTML. hmm And okay, okay, followed by an HTML, and then with a language attribute that has en, and then we need to close it. HTML. Let's try that. Yeah, doc type HTML. Okay, so we're stuck at the beginning. Declaration at the top of the document. I should be at the end. That's value. Okay, that's right. شو المشكلة? Your code should contain doc type. شو يعني? Oh my god, what I'm doing? What am I doing? Okay. Feel like I lost. Uh-huh. Language equal en. Is this supposed to be caps? No, right? HTML. No. Oh, it's with the exclamation, I think, something. Shady. HTML. Yep. So there's an exclamation mark over here. Okay, so we're all good here. All right. Let's go to the next step if it loads. Okay. Nest a head element. Okay, let's nest it, and then there should be a body element. Body element. Um, that works. Okay. Then we'll have to add a title. In the title bar resource. Okay, what do we need to fill it with, or is it empty? Within the head element, nest the title element with the text colored markers. Okay, there we go. Okay, so char set. We need to add a meta tag, I believe. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, so char set equals, which is UTF hyphen 8. That works. Okay. Okay. So add another meta element and add element, and then we have to set the viewport. Okay. Viewport. Okay. So we went over these in the previous episode, or the first one actually, and I don't feel like going through them again. And a content attribute, which is, yeah, I kind of forgot all about this. Let's just copy this. All right. So for meta tags, yeah, you don't need to close them, which is fine. Okay, now let's start coding. Then the body element, add an h1 element with the text CSS color markers, and then let's close it. Okay, and then here, yeah, so we have to link it to the CSS, right? So link element within the head element, give it a relation, I guess, a relative attribute, and set it to style sheet, and an h reference to style.css. That's up. Okay. So we linked it to the styles.css page, which is this one, and this already loaded here at step 8. So I'm just gonna keep trying to raise my volume or raise my voice basically because I feel like I record these videos at a low volume, voice, whatever you call it. Anyway, um, as a reminder, okay, so here they're just reminding us of the syntax, and yeah, so this is where they want us to create something for h1. Let's see, text align and set it to center. All right, up. All right, now the text is centered over here. So the next step, then within the body element, add a div tag. Come on, div. If only I don't slip. Um, yeah, so they need a class container. Make sure the div is below the h1. Yep, it's already there. Mhm. Add another div element and give it a class of marker. Okay, okay, okay. So there's the container, and then we'll just add another one and call it marker. Oh, is it within the div? Oh, within the div element. So this should be inside. This should be right here. Yep, container and the marker. Okay, it's time to add some color. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, create a CSS rule that targets the class marker. So in order to select markers, you have to use the dot over here and then marker, and then you can open your curly brackets. Color. Okay, so background color is the attribute and set it to red. And we're not supposed to see anything because there is nothing within that div element, so there's nothing to assign the background color to basically. And now over here we're basically going to set a specific height to that div element, and we'll add 25 pixels, right? And now we can see it because now it has a height at least, even though there's no content inside. But we just I mean, using CSS, we just gave it 25 pixels of height, right? And then we're adding a width to it as well, which is 200 pixels. So now you see it. This is 200 pixels by 25. All right. So we have our first marker over here. And now we're talking about margins. To center your marker, set margin property to auto. Yeah, we learned that in the last episode or last video. Margin. Um, let's do left and then set it to auto. Margin up, right. and then set it to auto. Up, margin, right? Now it's centered. Oh, what does it need? Okay, it needs to be everything needs to be set to auto. Can I just do this instead? Yep, that works. Okay. So in case you've forgotten, basically setting, I mean, using just margin with auto will basically try to set it dead center. So it will just um, it's basically the same as if you were going with margin left and margin right, margin bottom, margin top, and then setting everything to auto. So you just use margin instead of doing them by one. All right, and the container div, add two more div element and give them the class marker. So basically, they want us to add two more markers over here. One, two, and now we have three markers. But the problem is there's no space in between. So I'm guessing we're setting some space over here. Uh-huh. hmm Okay, set the margin property to 10px and auto. So what does that mean? When short-term margin property has two values, it sets margin top and margin bottom to the first value. Okay. So the first value would be like vertical margins, both top and bottom, and then there's the second value would be margin left and right, which is the horizontal value. So 10 pixels and then space auto would basically mean that uh, give basically assign like the value of 10 pixels in between, like top and bottom of each element, and then auto meaning like margin left and margin right would be set to auto, meaning like it will center this thing. So it will stay centered, and then there's just gonna be some margins top and bottom, right? Which is 10px, which is this. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Okay. If you add multiple classes to an HTML element, this time the fourth class. Then that's one. Okay, so basically we're adding two classes now. So marker one, then you can do. I mean, they're just asking us to do the first one. Okay, so it will be overridden by the later classes, meaning that if we use this class, I mean, we assign some attributes to this class using CSS, then it will override whatever is here. So if we set no margins over here, then the margins that are set for the class marker wouldn't apply because this is overwriting this one. Overriding. Okay. Next, remove the background color property and its value from the marker. Alright, so no more red. Then create a CSS rule that targets the class 1, which is the thing that we just created, صح? Okay, background color red. So the first one has this applied, right? So yeah, we assign the value only to the first one. I'm assuming 2 and 3. And then we'll have to assign 2 and 3 background color. What do they want? Green. And they want 3 to be blue. What did I do wrong? Oh yeah, I forgot the dots over here. So it's not a class until you add a dot, right? Okay. and then 21. Okay. Create a CSS rule that the class that targets a class container. Okay, we haven't done that before, and then we'll add a background color to black with RGB instead of just using the word black. And then we can add a semicolon at the end to close it. All right. Okay, so now I think they're just teaching us like different ways of assigning color, right? So we can use RGB. Uh-huh. All right. So yeah. So basically, the first value would be red, and then green, and then blue, and they span from 0 to 255, which is the max value of the red, for example, and or green or blue, whatever. Means that there's a 0% of that color, and okay, so 0 means that there's a 0% of that color, and it's black. So basically, if all of them are zeros, then it's black. If all of them are 255, then it's white. Um, and dot one CSS rule replace the color red with the RGB function instead. Yeah, so basically, if we're gonna do it this way, then we have to write RGB and then 25500, which is red. It's the same thing basically. Alright, so here we have to go for RGB, so 0 for red, 255 for green, and then 0 again. Aha, so here we notice a difference. There's a much brighter green color over here than the green value. I mean, setting it just to green as a word, right? Instead of RGB. So, I think they'll mention that in the next step. All right. Yeah, so while red and blue looks the same, the green one is much lighter than it was before. This is because the green color keyword is actually darker shade. Yeah, so the green word is actually a darker shade. It's not a bright green as this one. Um, okay, so and it is about halfway between black and the maximum value of green. So meaning if we divide 255 by 2, we get the half of the green value, right? And this gives us the same green color as the green word. All right. So it's just something to know. Um, Now add a little more vertical spaces between your markers and the edge container element there. And okay, so basically the container is the black background, and we're adding more vertical space or spans or margin. Let's see. Oh, padding. We can use padding to do that. Yep, and then we padded this. And set the left and right padding to 0. Okay, so what did we learn last time? So 10px would be for vertical and then 0px would be for left and right. It doesn't make a difference here, I mean visually, but like technically it was making a difference. So it could have just like interfered with the next steps within this uh, course, right? So that's why I have to follow it. All right, 26. Okay, so in addition to RGB color model, we have. Mhm. Okay, before you combine colors, set two green. Oh, set your green marker back to pure green for the RGB. Okay, so they just want us to go for 255 again, and then we're going to blend colors, I guess. Red, green, and blue to 255. So let me do it this way. All right, so that's white. Okay, because all of them are maxed out. Um, okay, secondary colors are okay to create first and secondary color. Yellow. Oh, okay, so they're just going through color theory, I guess. So, what do they need here? To create first secondary color, yellow, update the RGB function, combine pure red and pure green. Red and green makes yellow. Okay. To create the next secondary color, cyan, update the RGB function, combine pure green and pure blue. Alright. Then we'll create purple, I guess. 255. Magenta, magenta, okay. Okay, so here to create the tertiary, I have no idea how to read this word. How do you read this word?
tertiary,
Okay. Alright, whatever. To create this color, orange. Okay, so orange is yellow and red. So that the red is at max value, and then okay, so half green. Okay, 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 okay. So I need to memorize these things because I'm bad at color theory, I guess. Okay, okay. Spring green, combine green and blue and set it for half. Okay. And then again set red to 127 and that should create violet. Okay, 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 okay. I'm really bad with colors, that's what I understood. But it's all okay. It's all okay because no one uses these colors anyway. Who cares? Okay, red, green, blue is what you need to know. All right. So what do we have here? Did the RGB rule so that red is at 127. Okay, so they're just giving us the rest of the colors, I guess. Okay. Huh. I really, really don't get it, but I think that's what they're trying to do. I'm just going through this quickly. I'm assuming this is what they want us to do to get the rest of the colors, and yep, so those are whatever they call them. Okay, Azure, something, and yeah. Okay, okay. Background color for each element set to pure black. Okay, everything. Adjust the values in the RGB function so that the background color of each element is set to pure black. Okay, I understand. Can I do this and then copy this, do this, do this? Something's wrong here. Oh, okay. Yep, they're all black. All right. Set the red to max. Mhm. Green value to max. Oh, okay. Blue and green because it has to be cyan. All right. Where are we now? Okay. So now we're back to HT. No, no, we're not at HTML. Okay, so first in the H1 rule, use the RGB function. to set the background color to cyan, and that would be 0255 255. Okay, we have a background color over here. Next in dot one, set it to background color to, oh, okay, so set it to black. Use the RGB function, right? So that's, and then red. They're playing with us, I swear. There's no reason for us to keep doing this. Okay. Notice how your eyes are naturally drawn to red. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Okay, so they're just saying that things are clearer if you. Okay, I get it. Basically, yeah, it's more clear if it's in between two black colors. Because if all of them are very vibrant or bright, then it makes things harder to see. It's just like what what people are drawn to, right? So yeah, we're just trying to learn how to draw people's attention. Important. Okay, so yeah, two important headings, buttons, or links. It's just a useful tip for you to have. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but yeah, it is important. For now, use the RGB function with the two rotator, set it to black again. All right. Okay, so and remove the background color property so that it goes back to default. So they're just explaining things, right? So yeah, okay. So now it's at okay. In the first marker div element, change the class one to red. All right, change one to red over here. All right, so and update the RGB so that the red value is at max. Okay, so now we're setting values again. Change the 2 to green, and then change the 3 to blue. I'm assuming I'm not reading. Yep. And then change um, this to green, I guess, and then there's that to blue, and then we have to give it 255 and then 255 over here. No? Oh, I'm just skipping steps. Okay. And now they'll ask us to do that, I guess. Okay, no, we're trying something else. So, so we learned basically two ways of setting colors, right? So this is, for example, this is black using RGB, and then we can just do this, and it's black again. But now we have another way. So we can use something called hex colors, right? Uh, so basically, the way this works is it uses something called a hex value, right? And that's from 0 to 9 and A to F. So if you want to calculate something, I mean, if you want to count from using hex, it would be like starting from 0, 1, 2 through 9, and then 10 would be A, and then B, C, D, E, F, right? So it's how many characters? A, B, C, D, E, F. That's 15. That's 10, and then 5 more. So yeah, the highest number F would mean 15 basically. Okay. So F would be the max number and the 0 would be the minimum, I guess, number. Yeah. And then what's in between would be 8, I guess, would be the mid value. All right. So yeah, that's an example of a hex value. So the first two would be red, and then second two would be green, and then there's blue, right? Okay. And the green class selector set the background properties. Okay. Uh, all right. So instead, we're gonna do 00 for red and FF for green, and then 00 for blue, and that's using hex. All right, yeah, this is what I was explaining. So those are the numbers. This is what they call base 16 because they go from 0. So 0 counts. F would be 15, but yeah. Okay, 0 is 0%, F 100%. So this would be 100%. So okay, so I'm assuming okay. So if we do like 0F, that would be 50%, or F0 should be 50%. I'm not so sure anymore. Let's see. Lower the intensity a little bit. Okay, so we'll do this. Oh, this is 50%. It looks like 50%. Okay, the HSL, which is the hex, I guess, color model. Oh, this is something new. No, this is something new. Oh, hue, saturation, and lightness is another way to represent color. Okay, so HSL function accepts three value number from 0 to 360 for hue, a percentage from 0 to 100 for saturation, and a percentage from 0 to 100 for lightness. Alright, so if you imagine a color wheel, alright, okay. So red is at 0 degrees, which is like here. If you'd imagine a wheel, it's right here. And then green is at 120 degrees. So 120 would be like over here, I guess. Then 240 is over here. So three colors, right? Okay, yeah. Three thirds, I guess. And then you have all colors in between. All right. Saturation is the intensity of a color from 0%. So, or gray to 100%. Okay, intensity of color. Okay, so it's a grayscale basically. All right. It uses percent sign. All right. Lightness is how bright it is. You can just okay play with that. 50% being neutral. All right. In the blue CSS rule, use the HSL function to change the background color property to pure blue. So we're not using this. We're using HSL, and then we can do 240 for blue, and then 100% for saturation, and then 50% for lightness, and that's our blue. All right, we're halfway there. All right, you've learned a few ways to set flat colors in CSS, but you can also use a color transition or a gradient. All right, so we're learning how to use a gradient. A gradient is when one color transitions into another. The CSS linear gradient function lets you control the direction of the transition along with a line, along a line. Okay, yeah, which colors are used. Okay, okay, so linear gradient function actually creates an image element and is usually paired with a background property which can accept an image as a value. Interesting. Okay, okay. So since it's an image, we are not changing the color of this background to something specific. Instead, we're going for this and then linear gradient, or how does this work? Wait. Am I supposed to? Ah, I can keep this value. I'm just switching to what this works. Seriously? Okay, I did not realize. Oh, okay. So this is now an image? Yeah. No, is it? No. I have no idea. It's not an image, but background can accept an image as a value. So it can do both instead of background color, which is specific to color. I'm assuming this is what it means, and I'm going ahead with that. Okay. So here they're explaining this linear gradient direction, color 1 and color 2, and more. Okay, because you can add more colors if you want. Okay, you can use RGB, you can use HSL or hex or color keyword. So four different ways of adding colors. Now you'll apply red to green gradient along a 90-degree line to the first marker. First, in red, set the background property to linear gradient. Yalla, let's start. Same. And then pass it the value of 90 degrees. So you have to add the DEG. And 90 degrees would be at the direction to the first marker, which is from left to right, I guess. And then nothing. They just want us to add a degree for now. Okay, so next step, we'll use the RGB function to set the first color to pure red, which is 25500. Okay, we have two colors and we have nothing as of yet because we need at least two colors so that the linear gradient works. Okay, to pure green using RGB. Alright, so here it's 90 degrees, meaning it's horizontal, and then it starts from red to green, and then it goes through the all of the colors basically, the whole gradient, right? And to green. I want to just do something. So if we do like 180 instead, that's vertical, right? So that's from top to bottom. Okay, so that's 180. So 90 degrees was. I'm just trying to visualize this. So if we do 270, it's the other way around. 360, it's the other way around again. Okay, yeah. Think I kind of visualized it. Okay, okay. Let me do something better. So that's 90. Let's do 100. We can't notice 100, I guess. 120. Let's do 150. Right, you can see it twisting. Basically, it goes from here to here, right? It's just slightly until you do like 180. But yeah, anyway, I'm just wasting time here. All right. Mm-hmm. Use the RGB function to add a pure blue as the third color. I go okay. So we're adding a third color here, and then we'll do 00255. So three colors. Hmm. And then they want us to. Interesting. Okay. Color stops. Okay, so color stops allow you to fine tune where colors are placed along the gradient line. They are a length unit like pixel or percentages that follow a color in the linear gradient function. For example, in this red-black gradient transition from red to black, uh, takes place at the 90% point along the gradient, so red takes up most of the available space. Okay, 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 okay. So we can add 75% color stop after the first red color argument. So basically we're saying that this RGB value takes up 75%. And then you can see it here. So it took 75% and then it tried to like apply the gradient in between all of the remaining colors, I guess. All right. Gradient direction, which is the degrees, set it to 180. This is just to teach us, I guess, yeah, what we are trying to do. I mean, what we did already. So yeah, it's from top to bottom, and then you hardly can see the other colors because red is taking 75% and it's just a short distance. Okay, set the color stop for red at 0%. The color stop for green at 50%, and 100%. How does that even work? Yeah, bright differentiator form. Okay. Okay. Green has to be 74, and then blue is at 14. Huh? For the first color argument is current red update. Oh, okay, so we're just doing these changes to one of them only. 74, 14. The shade of the top and bottom edges of the marker will be darker. Okay, so it's just a way for it to like utilize the gradient to make shades. It kind of looks like a 3D effect over here. So I'm guessing this is what they're trying to show. Yep. All right. Okay. Update the RGB function so that the value for red is 245. I'll modify the second color. Okay, I have to read 245 and then 62, then 113. What's happening? Why is it showing green? Oh, okay. We're still. I thought we were working with the second one, which is the green class, but we were working with the red class, which is the first one. And yeah, so basically, this is the gradient from this brownish color to this pink, reddish color. So it's going through here, and then yeah, the last color being blue. Okay, so we're updating the last one. Value for red is 162. Oh, this is becoming boring. And then 27, another 27. So that's the third color. And the red marker is looking much more realistic. Basically, we just created like the hue or not the hue, the shadows for this red marker. So we started off with a brownish color to show you like a shade of a red marker, and then we went with the actual brighter color, and then the last color being a bit more darker and brighter red than the brown one, I guess. Yeah. So it's just the way to create the markers over here for this specific course. All right. Now let's do the same for the green marker using the combination from okay linear gradient function and hex colors. Okay, so basically we're doing the same thing but with hex instead of RGB. Okay, so we have background and then we need to use linear gradient. And then We'll set the direction to be 180 so that it's vertical degree, and then the first color use the hex values of 55, 68, and 0D. Alright, that's the first color, and then we have to add the next one, which is 71, F5, and then 3E. Alright, so yeah, we have the shade on top, and then we have the brighter green, and then we'll need to add the last dark green color over here, which is 11, 6C, and then 31. Yep, and that's the third color. Okay, even without the color stops, you might have noticed that green markers transition is the same point as the red marker. Okay. All right. So here, if you notice the difference, so we did not add the color stops over here, but there's a color stop over here. It does look the same though, but I guess it's more blended over here than this. So yeah, let's reset it. Okay. Remove the three color stops from. Why are we removing them? I guess there's another way to do things. Okay, so removing them, and then mhm. Okay, so now we're removing the direction. Okay. So yeah, we didn't need the direction because it automatically does it from top to bottom, I guess. Now apply the gradient to the blue marker using HSL. Of course, we'll have to remove the background first, and then linear gradient, and then let's do this instead. Let's do this and then do another one. Okay, so 186 is kind of reddish. صح? Oh no, it's blue. Okay, I'm wrong. 76, and then lightness at 16. Okay, that's the first color. And the second color would be HSL, and then we have 223, 90% for saturation, and 60% lightness because this has to be brighter. Okay, and then another HSL, 240, and 56% hue, and then 42% brightness. Okay, so we have our blue marker over here. Okay, so we're back to the HTML page, and we need to, inside the this div for the red marker, okay, we need to create another div element and give it a class of sleeve. Okay. Mhm. Okay, so here we're creating another CSS rule for sleeve class and set the width property to 110 pixels. Okay, and the height would be at 25 pixels. Oh, okay. So yeah, so here the first of the sleeve element background color to white color. So it took 50% of this space by default. Oh no, it's not 50%. It's the width and height that we've set over here. So it covered this one. And now we are using opacity property, which is basically in the transparency, right? So we can either set it from 0 to 1 or use a percentage from 0% to 100%. And here, for example, 0.5 would be 50%, the equivalent of 50%, right? Okay, so now they're asking us to remove the opacity value. Mm-hmm. All right, so now they're teaching us how to use another channel. So instead of white, we'll use RGBA, which is red, green, blue, and then there's something called alpha. So alpha is basically the transparency. Yeah, so it's the same thing, red, green, blue, and then the transparency. So if we do 255, 255, 255, and then set it to 50% alpha, then it's the same value basically, right? And they mentioned that we can use the alpha channel in the HSL with HSL and I guess with hex as well, with everything. Basically, the fourth element would be the alpha, I'm assuming, unless we need to add it so to the actual CSS attribute. So that would be like RGB, and then we add an A, HSL, and then we add an A again. All right. So here we add a new div with the class cap before the sleeve. So div cap div, then we have a cap. So we create a CSS rule for dot cap, and yeah, so width 60 px, height 25 px, and then come on, yalla yalla. Okay, okay, so here, okay, that's a long one. It looks like your sleeve disappeared, but don't worry, it's still there. What happened is that your new cap div is taking up the entire width of the marker and is pushing. Oh, alright, 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 alright. So the sleeve is somewhere else, I guess. It's pushed by this new element, div element. So since it has no values, it's just taking space. So it's not covering the red marker, but it's pushing the white sleeve. All right. This is because the default display property for the div element is block. So when two block elements are next to each other, they stack like actual blocks. For example, your marker elements are all stacked up on top of each other. Yes, because those are blocks. Okay, makes sense. Those are all individually on a different div element. Um, okay, so to position two div elements on the same line, set the display property to inline block. And so yeah, we have to specify inline block so that they are within the same line. Otherwise, they'll be on top of each other as blocks do, I guess. Okay, create a new rule that targets both cap and sleeve. So we can do this dot sleeve, I guess, and set display line block. Yep, I guess. Right. Yeah, so basically this is the first div I'm assuming, and then this is the sleeve, or it could be the other way around. I think it's before. Alright, so here what we'll do is that we need to add a border left width 10px. Okay. Okay, so all HTML elements have borders, however, they are usually set to none by default. So you can control all aspects of an element's border and set a border on all sides or just one side at a time. For a border to be visible, you need to set the width, set its width and style. Alright, so we do have a border width here, but then what does it mean? Where does it lay on which element? Oh, so this is for the sleeve element, which is this exact thing. So I've added border here, meaning, yeah, so now if we add a solid border, okay, border style, okay, it's not around because we've used left. So we have this, and then we just added the style to be solid since it was, I guess, none or nothing before. So only now we can see the width that we've set, and by default it's black, I guess. All right, and then here we need to add, yeah, so we're changing the border left color to black, which is by default anyway. All right. Mhm. Okay, so instead of using three different attributes, we can just use border left and then set the width, style, and color within the same line. So we can do this 10px, and then style is solid, and then color is black. Or sorry, without the commas because you don't need them. All right. Change the border style from solid to double. Let's see. All right. So now we have. Oh, it looks like a marker already. All right. Use the RGBA function for black instead, I guess. So that's pure black, and then 75% opacity, so that it's a bit more transparent. So it's blended, okay? And then we need to add this, leave a marker. Okay, so this would be nice. So basically, once I just hit paste, and then they'll basically have the sleeve and cap, right? Because we already have the CSS styles created for them, so we simply assign them. I mean, we just added more. I mean, we just included the div elements for those sleeves and caps within the HTML text and just applied the same styles to them, right? The ones that are assigned. Okay, so we're almost done. We're 1 hour in. Okay, so here, okay, so we're talking about box shadow. Box shadow is basically the what do you call it? A property that lets you apply one or more shadow to an element, around an element. Okay, so I'm not gonna read all of this. You guys can go ahead and read it, but uh, I'm just gonna read the last line. Okay, so we're adding a simple shadow, box shadow. hmm 5px, 5 pixels for offset x. Okay, and then 5px for offset y, and then color. Okay, 5px for offset y, and then the color, which is red. All right. So basically, so that's the box shadow. If we do like zeros, then it's not offset anymore, right? So it would be like right behind our, yep. So you can't see anything. So basically, if we're just pushing it 5 pixels to the right, and then we're pushing it 5 pixels below, and then it looks like a shadow, right? Yep. And then we can add a color basically, which we did over here, and it's red. So that doesn't look like a shadow, right? So we're doing some changes. First of all, yeah, what if you wanted to reverse the position? You can do negative 5 pixels. Okay, so the shadow is on top. So it just changes perspective according to what you need. Um, okay, so there's one more option over here called blur radius. So what we can do box shadow for red, and then we'll do 5 pixels and then 5 pixels, and then blur radius and green for color, right? Oh, no, no, something's wrong. What's wrong? Hmm, 5px, 5px. That's not wrong. Oh, 5px for blur. Oh, yeah, I don't need to type it. I can just do this. Okay. So this blur radius is basically adding a blur effect which looks more like a shadow. I'm not so sure how it works, but uh, you can just play around with the value to just increase it or reduce it, I'm assuming. Yeah, so yeah, the okay, so as you can see, like I just changed it to 50, and then you can see that the radius is way bigger. It spans to the red marker and goes even a little bit underneath of the blue marker, I would say. All right. So yeah, let's keep it at 5 as they wanted. And yeah, let's go next. All right, so in the blue, let's do a box shadow. And then they want us to use something called spread radius. So blur is different, and then there's spread radius. So that's, let's see, 0, 0, 0 for blur. Sorry, that's without commas. And then for the wait, 0 for offset X, 0 for offset Y, 0 for blur radius, 5 pixels for spread radius, and blue for the color. Okay, so spread goes all around the element. So that's our div element, and then it just goes 5 pixels around it fully. Right, so if we've used an offset over here with a negative 5 pixels, and it goes up a little bit, but then it doesn't cover all of the edges, right? So this basically means that it's expanded, it's bigger than the actual marker, where if we set the offset over here to zeros, then it will be completely hidden behind the marker. So yeah, so there's that, and then we can go to the next one. Okay, so we're just we just familiarized ourselves with the box shadow. We've used different things over here. So now we're actually setting it to something that's more towards the markers. Okay, so we're doing 0, 0, and 0 again for the blur, I guess. 20 px. Okay. No, no, blur, right? This is 20. I'm just reading too quick. And then 0 for the spread radius. Remember that you don't need to add units for the 0 value. Yeah, you don't need to, but it's there anyway. Okay, so we have the blur radius at 20, and then it covers the whole thing because it just expands beyond the element. Right? Okay. So replace the named color with RGBA, and then instead give it a specific color, 14, and then 0.8 for the alpha, which makes it look more of a shadow. Alright, so now we'll do the same thing for these. Let's do all zeros, so we don't need to specify. 20px over here, I think. Yep, leave the color as green and blue. Let's just copy that then. So now we have those shadows over here. Uh-huh. And let's see, for the green marker box shadow, replace the named color with hex code. Okay, so they want a hex code over here, which is 3B and then 7E and then 20 and then CC for the alpha channel. Remember, we can add an extra double digit, I guess, hex value for the alpha over here. So that's the red, and that's green, and that's blue, and then there's alpha. All right, and then we can use, yeah, so HSLA with the alpha, HSL plus alpha. We are just using 220, okay, 59% of saturation and 31% of brightness, and then 0.8 of alpha. And we're done. Okay, finally. Okay, so we're done with 3 courses, and then the next video would be basically something totally new for me. So we'll see how that goes. At least I'm done with those bits. So now this is going to be more exciting. All right. See you guys in the next video. Bye. Bye.